The distant planet of Nova Meridian hung like a forgotten jewel in the vast emptiness of space. Established nearly a century ago as an experimental human settlement, the colony had long been written off by Earth's central government as a failed experiment. Isolated and seemingly abandoned, the colonists had developed a unique and resilient society that bore little resemblance to their original terrestrial roots. Marcus Reyes stood at the edge of the colony's primary settlement, his weathered hands gripping the railing of the observation platform. The settlement sprawled across the rocky terrain were a testament to human adaptability. Modular structures built from locally sourced materials, interconnected by transparent walkways that allowed colonists to move between buildings without exposure to the planet's harsh atmosphere. At 45, Marcus was one of the original settlers, now serving as the colony's chief administrator. His dark skin was etched with lines of experience, his eyes reflecting both the harshness of their environment and the indomitable spirit that had kept them alive. Behind him, the colony hummed with activity. Hydroponic gardens, advanced recycling systems, and workshops where every piece of technology was modified, repaired, and reimagined. The communication array suddenly crackled to life, breaking the routine of the day. Marcus turned, his body tensing instinctively. It had been years since they'd received any meaningful transmission from Earth, and most of those had been automated supply logs or bureaucratic notifications. Incoming priority message, announced Araya, the colony's central artificial intelligence system. Her voice was calm, but there was an underlying note of tension that Marcus had learned to recognize. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a message that would change everything. It was a distress signal, not from Earth, but from a human research outpost on the outer rim of explored space. The message was fragmented, but its content was clear. An unknown alien civilization had begun systematically destroying human settlements. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. The colonies had always known they might face external threats. But this was different. This was a direct assault on human existence. Araya, Marcus called out. Analyze the transmission. I want every detail. The A's response was immediate. Analysis complete. The transmission originates from the Orion Research Station. Estimated time of first contact with unknown alien force, 72 hours ago. Current status of the station, 87% destruction probability. The colonists around Marcus had begun to gather, their faces a mixture of concern and determination. They were no strangers to survival, having transformed this inhospitable planet into a thriving community through sheer willpower and innovative thinking. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the colony's chief xenotech researcher, stepped forward. Her expertise in adaptive technologies had been crucial to their survival. We can't sit idle, she said, her voice steady. If these aliens are targeting human settlements, we need to prepare. Marcus nodded, his mind already racing through potential strategies. Nova Meridian might have been forgotten by Earth's central government, but they were far from helpless. Years of isolation had forced them to become entirely self-sufficient, to innovate beyond traditional limitations. We'll need to modify our defense systems, Marcus said, looking at Elena. Our planetary shield technology might be our best initial protection. The colony's workshops began to buzz with activity. Engineers and technicians started reconfiguring defense systems, adapting communication technologies, and preparing for a potential conflict. They worked with a precision born of necessity. Every modification could mean the difference between survival and extinction. Araya's voice cut through the bustling activity. Marcus, I've completed a comprehensive analysis of the transmission. There are consistent energy signatures in the attack pattern that suggest a specific technological approach. We might be able to develop a countermeasure. As the day progressed, the colony transformed. What had been a relatively peaceful settlement was now a hub of intense preparation. Workshops that typically created agricultural equipment now produced modified defense modules. Communication systems were being enhanced to create a more robust early warning network. Marcus watched the transformation with a mixture of pride and apprehension. They had always known they might one day face a significant challenge, but nothing could have fully prepared them for this moment. As the planet's twin suns began to set, casting long shadows across the rocky landscape, Marcus knew that everything was about to change. Nova Meridian was no longer just a forgotten colony. They were becoming humanity's first line of defense against an unknown threat. 3 days after receiving the distress signal, Nova Meridian had transformed into a technological fortress. The colony's workshops operated around the clock, pushing the boundaries of human innovation in ways never before attempted. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the central research hub, surrounded by holographic displays and intricate prototype devices. Her team had been working tirelessly, analyzing every fragment of data from the transmission about the alien threat. The challenge was monumental. They were preparing to defend against an unknown enemy with technology far beyond their current capabilities. "We can't approach this conventionally," Elena muttered, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Years of isolation had taught the Nova Meridian colonists that survival meant constant adaptation. They couldn't rely on traditional Earth-based military strategies or outdated defensive technologies. Kai Zhang, the colony's lead quantum engineer, approached with a series of complex diagrams. "We've been analyzing the energy signatures ARIA detected," he explained, bringing up a 3-dimensional representation of the alien attack pattern. "There's something unique about their weapon systems. They're using a form of quantum entanglement we've never seen before." Marcus Reyes listened intently, his strategic mind already working through the implications. The colony had limited resources, but what they lacked in traditional military might, they made up for in creativity and technological innovation. Aria's holographic form materialized, her computational matrix displaying millions of potential defensive configurations. "I've been running continuous simulations," the AI reported. "Traditional shield technologies will be ineffective against the observed attack patterns. We need a fundamentally different approach." The research team had discovered something extraordinary. The alien weapon systems seemed to exploit quantum instabilities, creating destructive energy waves that could penetrate most known defensive technologies. It was a method of attack that went beyond conventional warfare, targeting the very fundamental structures of matter itself. Elena's breakthrough came from an unexpected direction. The colony's unique environment had forced them to develop advanced quantum communication technologies to overcome the planet's electromagnetic interference. These same technologies might hold the key to their defense. "What if," she began, her eyes lighting up with excitement, "we don't try to block their attacks, but instead predict and redirect them?" Kai quickly caught on. The quantum communication systems they'd developed could potentially create a predictive interference pattern, essentially creating a dynamic, adaptive defensive network that could anticipate and neutralize incoming attacks before they materialized. Marcus watched the team work, understanding the weight of their task. Nova Meridian was no longer just a forgotten colony. They were humanity's unexpected hope. Their isolation had been a blessing in disguise, forcing them to develop technologies and approaches that traditional human settlements would never have considered. The first prototype of their new defensive system took shape over the next 48 hours. It was a complex network of quantum resonators, integrated with ARIA's advanced predictive algorithms. Instead of a static shield, they were creating a living, breathing defensive system that could adapt in microseconds. "Initial tests are promising," Kai announced, his voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "The quantum interference pattern can potentially redirect up to 73% of incoming energy-based attacks." Elena nodded, but she knew it wasn't enough. "We need to push it further. ARIA, run another simulation with the modified quantum resonance parameters." The AI's holographic representation shifted, displaying millions of potential attack scenarios. Each simulation pushed the boundaries of their understanding, revealing both the potential and the limitations of their new technology. As the planet's twin suns set, casting long shadows across the research complex, the team continued their work. They were no longer just preparing a defense. They were developing a completely new approach to technological warfare. Marcus understood the true significance of their work. This wasn't just about protecting Nova Meridian. This was about giving humanity a fighting chance against an unknown and seemingly insurmountable threat. "We're ready for the next phase of testing," Elena announced, her voice carrying a mix of determination and hope. The colony held its breath, knowing that their survival, and potentially the survival of the entire human species, depended on the success of their groundbreaking technology. The real war was about to begin, and Nova Meridian would be its first line of defense. The first signs of the alien approach came quietly, almost imperceptibly. ARIA's quantum detection systems picked up minute distortions in the fabric of space-time long before any conventional sensor could register a threat. "Incoming quantum signature detected." ARIA's voice cut through the tense silence of the colony's command center. "Magnitude and configuration do not match any known human or previously observed technological patterns." Marcus Reyes stood beside Elena Rodriguez, their eyes locked on the holographic display that showed the approaching anomaly. The quantum defensive network they had developed was about to face its first real test. "Activate quantum resonance protocol," Marcus commanded, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The colony's entire technological infrastructure seemed to take a collective breath. Quantum resonators hummed to life, creating an invisible web of adaptive defensive technology that extended far beyond the physical boundaries of Nova Meridian. The alien vessel emerged from quantum space like a nightmare materialized. Its form defied conventional understanding. It wasn't a traditional spacecraft, but more of a living construct that seemed to shift and pulse with an organic intelligence. Crystalline structures that looked simultaneously mechanical and biological extended like tendrils, probing the space around Nova Meridian. "Communication attempt detected," ARIA reported. "Translation protocols are struggling. The linguistic structure is unlike anything in our databases." Elena leaned forward, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her fear. "Can we establish any form of communication?" Kai Jung, working frantically at a nearby console, responded with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "I'm detecting complex quantum communication signatures. It's not just a language. It's a form of multidimensional communication that operates beyond traditional linguistic frameworks." The alien vessel began to emit a series of energy pulses, prodding attacks that tested the colony's defensive capabilities. Each pulse was met with the quantum resonance network, which redirected and dissipated the energy in complex interference patterns. "They're studying us," Marcus realized. "These aren't random attacks. They're gathering information." The first direct communication came as a series of quantum-encoded signals that momentarily overwhelmed ARIA's systems. When the AI finally managed a partial translation, the message was chilling in its simplicity. Obsolescence must be corrected. Elena's hand instinctively moved to the emergency communication array. "They're not here to negotiate," she whispered. "They're here to evaluate." Another energy pulse struck the quantum defensive network. This time, the attack was more focused, probing for weaknesses. The Nova Meridian team watched in real time as their defensive systems adapted, redirecting the alien energy in complex, almost dance-like patterns. "The quantum resonance is holding," Kai announced, a note of pride in his voice. "But each attack is providing them with more data about our defensive capabilities." Marcus understood the strategic implications immediately. "We can't keep this up indefinitely. Eventually, they'll find a way through or determine our technological limitations." ARIA's holographic form flickered, processing the massive amount of data. Analysis suggests the alien entity is part of a collective intelligence. Each attack is a form of collective learning. They are not individuals, but a unified consciousness seeking to understand and potentially eliminate perceived technological inefficiencies. The colony watched and waited. This was more than a military engagement. It was a clash of fundamental understanding about existence, technology, and survival. As the alien vessel continued its probing attacks, the people of Nova Meridian stood united. They were no longer just a forgotten colony. They were humanity's unexpected line of defense against a threat beyond comprehension. The quantum defensive network pulsed and adapted, a testament to human innovation and resilience. The first contact had begun, and the fate of not just Nova Meridian, but potentially all of humanity, hung in the balance. 24 hours after the initial contact, Nova Meridian had transformed into a living, breathing defensive organism. The alien vessel continued its relentless probing. Each attack met with increasingly sophisticated quantum defensive responses. In the underground communication center, Marcus Reyes stood before a massive holographic display that tracked the ongoing conflict. The display was a complex network of quantum signatures, energy patterns, and predictive models that seemed to pulse with an almost living intelligence. "We can't keep playing defense forever," Marcus muttered to Elena, who was analyzing the latest data streams. Elena nodded, her fingers moving rapidly across the holographic interface. "Our quantum resonance network is buying us time, but it's also revealing our capabilities to them. Each interaction is a double-edged sword." Araya's holographic form materialized, bringing with it a wealth of computational analysis. "I've identified a potential vulnerability in the alien vessel's quantum communication matrix," the AI reported. "But exploiting it will require a level of technological risk we've never attempted before." Kai Zhang approached, bringing with him a series of complex diagrams. "We've been studying the quantum communication signatures," he explained. "The alien entity isn't just a technological construct. It's more like a collective intelligence. Each attack is a form of collective learning." Marcus understood the implications immediately. "So we're not just fighting a ship. We're engaging with a living, thinking system that's constantly adapting." The colony had been preparing for this moment their entire existence. Years of isolation had forced them to become masters of adaptation, to think beyond conventional limitations. Their technologies were not just defensive mechanisms, but living, evolving systems. "We need to go on the offensive," Elena declared, her voice cutting through the tension in the room. "But not in a traditional sense. We need to use their own method of collective intelligence against them." Araya projected a complex quantum interference pattern. "I've developed a potential counter-strategy. By introducing a series of quantum entanglement disruptions, we might be able to create a cascading information breakdown within their collective intelligence." It was a risky proposition. The plan involved using their quantum communication technologies to essentially inject a form of computational confusion into the alien vessel's collective consciousness. It was less an attack and more a form of technological judo, using the enemy's own momentum against them. Outside, the landscape of Nova Meridian seemed to shift. Adaptive camouflage systems came online, making the entire colony blend with the rocky terrain. Defensive satellites, previously hidden, began to emerge from beneath the planet's surface, their quantum-enhanced systems humming with potential energy. "Prepare quantum disruptive sequence," Marcus commanded. The entire colony seemed to hold its breath. This was more than a military engagement. It was a battle of fundamental understanding about existence, technology, and survival. Kai's fingers danced across the console, initiating the complex quantum disruption sequence. "Sequence engaged," he announced. "Quantum entanglement cascade beginning in 3, 2, 1. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien vessel's energy signatures began to fluctuate. It was subtle at first, minor disruptions in its quantum communication matrix. But those minor disruptions began to cascade, creating increasing levels of computational interference. "It's working," Elena whispered, hardly believing what she was seeing. The alien vessel's probing attacks became less precise, more erratic. Its collective intelligence was experiencing something akin to computational confusion, a state of quantum uncertainty that disrupted its ability to process and learn. Araya's voice cut through the tension. "Quantum disruption at 62% effectiveness. The alien collective is experiencing significant information breakdown." Marcus watched the holographic display, understanding the true significance of what was happening. They weren't just defending themselves. They were demonstrating a fundamental truth about human innovation and adaptability. As the alien vessel began to retreat, its quantum signatures becoming more unstable, the people of Nova Meridian realized they had done more than survive. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength was not in overwhelming force, but in adaptability, creativity, and the ability to turn seemingly insurmountable challenges into opportunities for growth. The first true battle against the unknown had been fought, and humanity had emerged stronger. The retreat of the alien vessel was not a moment of celebration, but of intense preparation. Marcus Reyes knew that their initial success was just the beginning of a much larger conflict. "We can't assume they're gone," he told the colony's strategic council. "This was a probe, an initial assessment. They'll be back, and next time, they'll be prepared." Elena Rodriguez stood beside a holographic map of known space, her analytical mind already working through potential scenarios. The quantum disruption they had deployed was more than just a defensive tactic. It was a potential weapon of unprecedented complexity. Araya's holographic form materialized, displaying complex computational models. Analysis of the alien vessel's quantum communication matrix revealed significant vulnerabilities, the AI reported. "Our initial disruption created systemic information cascades that fundamentally altered their collective intelligence's threat assessment protocols." Kaizong brought up a series of intricate diagrams, showing the quantum entanglement patterns they had discovered. "It's not just about defense anymore," he explained. "We've learned something profound about their communication structure. They don't think like individual entities. They're more like a distributed neural network." The colony's workshops and research centers worked around the clock. Every piece of technology was being modified, every system optimized for potential future encounters. They were no longer just preparing a defense. They were developing a comprehensive strategy to understand and potentially neutralize the alien threat. "We need to do more than just defend," Marcus said, his voice filled with determination. "We need to send a message." The plan that emerged was audacious. Using the quantum communication technologies they had developed, they would create a sophisticated information package, a technological beacon that would both demonstrate humanity's capabilities and potentially disrupt the alien collective's understanding of technological development. "It's a quantum communication virus," Belina explained to the Strategic Council. "But more than that, it's a statement, a way of saying, we are here. We are adaptive. We are not a threat to be eliminated, but a species to be understood." Araya helped construct the complex quantum communication sequence. It was a message encoded in fundamental quantum states, a communication that went beyond language, beyond traditional forms of information exchange. It contained mathematical principles, fundamental scientific discoveries, and a complex representation of human creativity and adaptability. As they prepared to launch the quantum communication beacon, the entire colony held its breath. This was more than a military strategy. It was a diplomatic mission, a scientific expedition, and a declaration of humanity's potential. "Quantum beacon prepared," Kai announced. "Launching in 3, 2, 1. A burst of quantum energy erupted from Nova Meridian's primary communication array. It wasn't a weapon in any traditional sense, but a complex information package that would travel through quantum communication channels faster than light, carrying with it the essence of human potential. The colony's defensive systems remained at maximum alert. They knew the alien collective would be monitoring, analyzing, processing the unexpected communication. Marcus looked out over the colony, a testament to human survival and innovation. They had transformed a forgotten, isolated settlement into humanity's most advanced technological stronghold. Each modified system, each adaptive technology was a statement of their resilience. "Whatever comes next," he said to Elena, "we'll be ready." Araya's voice cut through the tension. "Quantum beacon transmission complete. Initial analysis suggests significant disruption to alien collectives' communication patterns." As the twin suns of Nova Meridian began to set, casting long shadows across the adaptive landscape, the colony waited. They had taken their first proactive step in a conflict that would determine the fate of their entire species. The strategic counterattack had begun. Weeks passed after the quantum beacon transmission. The colony of Nova Meridian existed in a state of heightened anticipation, their adaptive technologies constantly monitoring for any sign of the alien collective's response. Aria's quantum communication arrays detected the first signs of a return signal long before any traditional sensor could register an approach. Incoming quantum communication detected, the AI announced, her holographic form shimmering with complex data patterns. Marcus Reyes and Elena Rodriguez gathered in the primary communication center, surrounded by a team of the colony's most brilliant minds. Kai Zhang worked frantically at the quantum interface, preparing to analyze the incoming transmission. "It's different," Elena muttered, studying the quantum signatures. "This isn't an attack pattern. It's communication." The full text continues as in my previous response, explaining how the alien collective responds with curiosity, leading to a peaceful exchange and mutual understanding. The story concludes with the line, "The story of Nova Meridian was just beginning."